Should we put them in the programs? Should we put them on the catwalks? Should we put them on the...
The thing is, they don't put those round girls, they don't put them on the catwalk, but they do label them plus. That is not a good look, you know, because you're just round.
This decade of social media and technological obsession have given fat people a platform and community to truly redefine and spotlight the movement like never before. As the movement has grown in supporters, as has its influence, and nothing confirms a new age of mainstream fat acceptance more than this.
They call her the first size 22 supermodel, Tess Holliday appearing boldly on the cover of Cosmo UK.
I didn't expect it to go global and for everyone to be talking about it.
But everyone is. Thousands showing their support on social media, some using the hashtag representation matters, writing, "This is easily the best thing I've seen this week." Major props to Cosmo UK for a genuinely body-positive cover.
The message that I wanted to put across, the message that did get across was that, like, things are changing.
That's right. Things were definitely changing. In October of 2018, 20-stone Tess Holliday infiltrated the fashion world to grace the cover of Cosmopolitan, and the world had no idea how to react. The fat acceptance movement had achieved something many of us wouldn't have ever thought was possible. It was now at the forefront of an industry that had arguably been the most responsible in ostracising the fat amongst us. But just like practically everything else in Western society, we were divided on how to perceive this cover. Was it a huge step forward in personal acceptance, or exploitation by cold capitalists who are essentially glorifying obesity? If I couldn't speak to Tess, it was important I could speak to someone from the same industry. That's why I headed to London to meet Joycelyn. Joycelyn is a plus-size model who has worked with brands such as QVC, Versace, and Vivienne Westwood. I knew she couldn't speak directly for Tess, but I felt she could offer some plus-size expertise. When we spoke on phone, you said about before you were a skinnier model before, you've gone through that.
I was a traditional model.
Traditional
before,
model, yep.
And I've gone through the transition of becoming a plus.
Right.
But the plus is when I see it as you're the same size you were the traditional, but you just get more curves, more rounded.
Right.
But what's happening now with a lot of plus models that they're calling themselves plus, like, for example, my girl Tess on the front of Cosmopolitan, she's not, when you're a traditional model, when you start, you've got to be a minimum height of 5'8".
Yeah. She's,
I think, 5'2", and she's like a size 26 or something, 24. So she's like there and there. So that doesn't denote being a plus, because it doesn't bring anything positive to the bigger woman or the curvier woman. So when you've got girls like her or these fat girls, I call them fat because I think if you're plus, you should be given you should be, they're all attractive, they're pretty girls, but you should be in proportion.
Yeah.
You know, or is in proportion. Some are pear-shaped, apple-shaped, or banana-shaped or whatever, but you shouldn't be like this, you know. And for me, in my opinion, I just think she doesn't represent the plus model or what a plus model exactly is. So why would you then use the word model? As in the traditional models, you have supermodels. The supermodels are not all spotty or, you know, got fat arms or covered in scars, whatever, or just not complementary to what they're supposed to be selling.
So for you, would you then take the Tess Holliday situation and you would put her in her own sort of bracket of models? So
I don't call them.
There's the traditional model, there's the plus size model, and then.
I don't know what label you will call them, because they're not really. What is she modeling? She can't go and walk down a catwalk with a traditional model and wear the same outfit, because the traditional model we have here should be down here and just there. So it doesn't sell what is a bigger woman, a curvier woman would look like.
Joycelyn's reaction was shocking, but it did make sense. She described the model as an ultimate for humanity's adoration. She seemingly implied a grey area in which women, in particular, would have positive plus-size representation without it becoming radical. Make no mistake, Joycelyn is considered as overweight, but perhaps offered a more acceptable alternative to that of morbid obesity.
Should we put them in the programs? Should we put them on the catwalks? Should we put them on the...
The thing is, they don't put those round girls, they don't put them on the catwalk, but they do label them plus.
Yeah.
Because you think to yourself, if now a woman's waist is 50, that is not a good look. Yeah. You can't have your shape as 56, 52, 58. That is not a good look. Yeah. You know, because you're just round.
Yeah, it's like painting such a big spectrum then under just the same brush.
Because they should be between 8 and 10 inches between bust, waist and hips.
Yeah.
If there's 2 inches, no.